What's up, guys? It's Alex. Today we're going to be working on the white Supercharged 19 Mustang today. Now, a lot of you guys saw the last video. I started experiencing some false knock. I think it's false knock, but there's only a couple of ways of verifying if it's false or not. So that's what I'm going to do, and this is what I would be doing on your end if I see what I saw in the data log. So let's take a look at a couple things real quick. So the first thing that I think might cause false knock on this setup is the cold air. So, or the charge system. It basically uses a stock air box, and it has a specially designed plastic inlet that prevents you from sucking in a bird, a cat, or anything like that. But I started noticing how close it's to this fan shock. Now, I'm not saying this is the cause. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a process of elimination and start eliminating certain things that I think might be an issue. The other thing I noticed is how close it is to this part right here. I can't imagine that there's a decent amount of clearance between that part right there. See right there where it might be touching this area right here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate that guy and do a 1-2 shift, 2-3 shift. Now the problem with that is it's gonna probably see another pound of boost. So I have to be real mindful as to how good my fuel is, because I'm probably gonna be right at the cusp of potentially seeing an octane limitation. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Eliminate that to see if it's false knock, or if I do that and it eliminates the false knock, what if I'm making another pound of boost or so and reaching an octane limitation? Well, this is how I do the vetting. In a single gear pull, this car never knocked, only on a shift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically run it up in a single gear and see if there's any knock. If there isn't any knock, I'm going to do a shift. And if there isn't any knock again, then I'm going to start leaning toward it being the cold air setup. So we'll see. Let's take it apart, do a single gear pull, then a shift, see what the log looks like, and see if it's any better, because it was consistently knocking on the 1-2, 2-3 shift. Actually, the 1-2 more than anything seems to be commensurate with wheel hop, and I want to see if it's the wheel hop causing an issue. This car doesn't have headers. It is bone stock. I mean, there's nothing hitting, so I can't blame the headers hitting anything. It didn't knock before when it was on the 85, so I want to see if the centrifugal, it overhanging so much, and the cold air potentially hitting on the shroud here is an issue. So let's just take this part off from here to here. I'm not going to take the whole box assembly off, because again, the MAF sensor is here on these guys. Okay, Procharger just recently started making MAF sensor placement in the charge pipe as opposed to their intercooler, which is a lot better in my opinion. As you can see, Vortech caps off the original MAF location. So let's take this guy off, do some data logs, see what it looks like. Well, that idea went to shit pretty quickly. Why? Because I have some lines. I believe this is for IMRC, and this is for basically, your clean side. Basically, as opposed to having a catch can setup, it goes to your cold air, similar to like a positive displacement supercharger, where they have this guy going from one of the coil covers right up in there. So, okay, what can I do to prevent that? Because it's an IMRC situation and I don't have them locked out, and I'm not planning to have them locked out, but I still need to see it have it see vacuum. Okay, so what I'm going to do is flip this under and see if there's any signs of it hitting. Okay, right there, see right there? Little shiny spot right there. And this little shiny spot might have been causing some rubbing, and it's not very apparent, but it's enough to make me go so maybe what I'll do instead is remove this guy and see if I can gain some clearance, because I really don't want to start messing with vacuum lines right now. Okay, a bit closer look after I remove the radiator shroud out of the way. Look at the non-clearance. Now, is that physically causing an issue? I don't know, but let's do this. Let's shave that guy down a little bit. Okay, let's clearance that, and because the engine will move independent of things that are tied to the body, so let's zip that down a little bit and see it was already clearanced for other things, but I'm going to clearance it a little more and see if that helps me out. Okay, so I basically give it a little hand file action, just a little bit, and then I cocked the cold air just slightly. I gave it about a little nudge on the bottom here and a little tiny nudge on the bottom here, and basically rotated it very slightly just to give me about an 1/8 inch clearance on that bracket down there. Let's see if the hood shuts. Let's do that real quick. And if the hood protective lining is an issue, then we'll visit that also. I might have to take that off, but let me make sure this guy is in there properly. I think this part went on the part I took off, but we'll see how it all shuts. Make sure there's no issue. There is definitely something hitting, so let's take a look at what's happening. Okay, I removed the isolator under the hood to keep engine noise down. Removed all the clips, tried to keep everything intact. I'm not a big fan of removing this shit. Honestly, I like keeping it as stock as much as possible. Notice though, no horse. 15 to 17 Mustangs have a horse. This guy does not. So I don't know what the deal was with that. But let's see if the hood shuts now. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Sure, this guy is in there. Is that how it goes? Yeah, sure, whatever. Let's see if it shuts nicely now. Aha, beautiful. So removing that allowed me to shut the hood a little nicer. We're gonna keep this off for now. Go take it for a drive. Obviously, my intent was to take the elbow off. After seeing the lines that were all under the hood, I said, let's just try easy shit. So the front plastic, I don't think is an issue. I think it was more where the cold air was sitting on this end and the hood did not want to shut because of this guy. So let's take it for a drive and log it and see what the deal is. Whew, it's a hot one today. I don't know why the hell I wore a hat. So took, clocked the cold air charge pipe deal. Cold air charge pipe is in the throttle body, and we're gonna do a 1-2 shift. Now this thing might move around a little bit, but I'm basically gonna do it so that I'm not logging. I'm just gonna look at the knock sensor PID on the N gauge and see if it stays negative on the shift and go from there. No, 1.2, so it's on 1.2 a knock, but the car did experience wheel spin. So I wonder if a couple of things are happening. I can't imagine wheel spin is causing that much, but what I'll do now is run it up in the RPM and shift slower and see if it's a shift-to-shift thing with engine shifting as opposed to wheel hop. First thing I noticed right off the bat though, when I went first gear, it just kind of blazed the tires, which it hasn't done that before. So that's a new thing, which is good or bad, I don't know. I'm gonna find a little chunk of Mexico because we're in a slightly densely populated area. I just don't want to, bring any attention to myself, and then I'll data log it, show you what I see, and see if that, made a difference or not. So we'll see how that goes. Just did a 2-3, not recording it, and it looked good. So I'm gonna do a 1-2, 2-3, and hopefully keep tire spin to a minimum and see how the knock sensors look. Record data. Here we go. Whoa, look at that. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Let's look at that data log. That's interesting. The knock sensors look negative on the 1-2 and the 2-3. If that's the case, and clearancing that little cold air section kind of did the trick, that's exciting because shift to shift, it felt really good. I don't want to do too much. What are IATs looking like? They're probably pretty good. Yeah, 104. So let's do another 2-3. Actually, let's do a 1-2. We got room. And I'll do a little bit more of an aggressive 1-2 and look at the knock sensor. Still data logging. Oh, holy shit! Oh my god! Oh, I've never experienced that. Holy shit! Totally ass out. Oh, I left some badass stripes. God, I gotta get out of here. I hope no cops saw that. That was very obvious. Holy shit. All right, let's look at the data log. Holy shit. Okay, so let's take a look at the data log real quick, right? After all that, I took a look at the data log and wanted to see what was going on. So let's max it out. And this is, I'm gonna highlight this area here. This is, let's just clear it all out and we'll show RPM, mile an hour. So you see the 1-2 shift. This is the 1-2 right here. This is wheel hop, okay? But look at the knock sensors. The knock sensors are still pretty happy. So the knock sensors, this is 0 right here. So the knock sensors didn't come in even in the event of wheel hop. They just didn't add timing. Once the wheel hop sort of ended, boom, they added a bunch of timing, ran up the RPM, knock sensors back at 0, 2-3 shift, no problem. 2-3 shift had a little bit of a wheel hop there, or a little, tire spin. But let's look at the other part where I freaked the fuck out and looked like I almost lost control, because I almost did. So again, throttle, 1-2, and let's get rid of throttle. And look at how short the flare is. It's very short. So you could tell I was, boom, on the shift. And look at mile an hour. Look at the 1-2 just spun like a mother, and it went all the way up to like 81 mile an hour during the burnout. Basically, it was a 1-2 shift that went just right to 80 mile an hour. So that's what caught me by surprise. I was like, oh my God, this thing is coming on pretty hardcore. So I had to kind of catch myself. But that's basically it. I mean, I took care of the cold air situation. It didn't come in and, cause an issue with false knock. I don't think the little shroud that I removed was a problem, but I did take the hood insulation off because it allowed me to clock the intake a little bit and give me some hood clearance, because these hoods are a little, shorter and, closer to the engine than 15 to 17 S550. So that's it. I'm using Lund Racing's kit to vet our 19 or 18 and up calibration for Vortech Superchargers. So hopefully you guys appreciate the effort I go to. I paid someone to put this in, put it in my personal car, and once we're done R&Ding, it'll go back to Lund Racing. Eventually maybe I can get another supercharger in the car and vet that combination. But for now, it's going to stay on until Lund Racing says different, and showing you a bit of the process and what to do if you have a similar combination in your car to get rid of false knock. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.